Hi, everyone. It's Betty Ray bringing you the Archangel Raphael. I hope this is a good morning for you on Sunday and that you have made your peace with God today. Because what we're going to talk about is depression. And I've been experiencing it myself lately. That sluggishness, that seemingly fog in the mind, the lack of energy, the ideas that inspire you to get up and do something, you just don't have the energy to do it. Sometimes we just get in a funk. And sometimes it's because of the way the sky, the planets are aligned, if you will, because everything is energy, dear ones. And God is that energy. We've said this so many times. God is the energy by which everything exists. So that's both the dark and the light. God is both the dark and the light. Oh, please don't shut me off because you don't believe God could be the dark energy. But God doesn't judge, and God lets us use the energy of this planet to gain wisdom. If we didn't know what the dark was, we wouldn't enjoy the beauty of the light. This is a world of opposites. And depression is part of it, and it's a growing thing in the planet because people don't know how to cope with what's been going on. And understandably, we've had freezing Texas with global warming, all kinds of unusual things are happening. And so it is a time of times of raising consciousness. And those of you who tune into our little chats are raising your consciousness, or you'd not be on this channel. Raphael comes to you through me to bring you enlightenment, to bring you joy. Because if you are in a depression right now, you're not feeling joy. And if that depression is caused by pain in your body, I understand. And it is a human thing. It hasn't anything to do with your spiritual journey. It has nothing to do with judgment. Please get out of the judgment track. Just step off that train and refuse to get back on it. And stop judging yourself. Stop looking at yourself as what you did wrong to cause what happened. Or do you look at it what you did right to cause what happened that was good? No, you just think of that as luck. So let's change that attitude. Let's look at God as who you are. I am a creation of God, and I have been given the duty and the task of bringing an archangel's wisdom to you. That's what I'm here for. And I didn't know that when I was a teenager. I just knew that I was very much in love with God and I wanted to serve God. And I wanted to be a nun because I thought that was the way to do it. But my guides told me, no, not this time. You've done that before. This time you're going to be a mother. And believe me, that's a job much harder than being a nun. You may not know it if you haven't had children, but oh my, I've had four, three boys and a girl. And they are now all grown up and have their own children, 7 grandchildren. So it is a journey that is a story that needs to be told. And your soul is the one who wrote the story and is now allowing you to be the leading actor on your stage. Let's look at it that way. God designed you for this lifetime to be the leading lady or leading man on your soul's stage as it enacts the story it's already written. Now, that does not mean predestination. That means that your soul wrote the story by choosing the DNA from your parents, choosing whether you would be male or female, choosing what maybe little glitches you might have in the body for an exit off the planet, maybe, because maybe you chose some kind of an illness that would end your life. It is not in any way a punishment. It's simply your soul who is writing the story and has to figure you got to have an exit sometime. Even though I've been around for 86 years, which seems impossible, but I'm here, and I'm here today because I was inspired to come and speak to you about depression. That is a disabler. Depression, and I've experienced it recently, when you're cooped up in your house because of the coronavirus, it gets boring after a while. And boredom can kick in depression because you begin to feel that helpless feeling that you don't have any control over your life, that nothing is exciting anymore. You don't have the ambition anymore to do some of the inspirational things you've been given. And believe me, I'm always getting inspiration to do things. I've got several projects that I could jump into, but I had no ambition. It was like I was a wilted flower that needed water. That's what depression does. You feel dehydrated. You're in need of water and you don't know where to go get it. So, what do you do about it? Well, first of all, you put on a happy face. You pretend to be happy. Because when you raise your emotions up out of depression and into joy, you will be lifted out of it and you will know what to do. And that's no easy task. When you have depression, it seems to just drain your energy, and all you want to do is just sort of sit in your recliner and watch television and just turn off your brain and not do anything. And again, I've been there, done that. I know, even with the inspiration of an archangel, when I am in that low energy area, I can't hear Raphael. And you can't hear your guardian angel either. So we are saying to you, dear ones, listen, rejoice and be glad that you are here on this planet, which is a privilege. It is a privilege to be on planet Earth and allow your soul to tell its story. No matter what your story is of the dark light, it's a story to be told. And so those who have been glued to the TV about what's going on in government, there's a lot of stories of people who are into the dark energy and are using it for their own comfort, their own wealth, their own whatever. And that's people in politics. We've got a lot of young souls who don't know the consequences of their actions. They don't know that there is a right and a wrong way to express their soul. When you have compassion for others, you're on the right track. But if all you're into is your own needs and your own satisfaction and your own being praised, if that's all you're into, you're showing your young soulness. But if you are here to be of service to other people, if you want to be compassionate and help others, and I'm doing it here on this video, all by myself in my house, on this video to tell you that your joy is your ticket out of depression. And how do you get there? Well, there's many ways. One of the first ways is to just get up out of your and do something. Go for a walk, most likely is the best way. But if you are in freezing weather, like what Texans have gone through, unless you have a dog, you're not going out there. And even up north, I'm from Michigan, so I know what it's like. So that's not something you can do, but you walk around your house and you can walk briskly and you can walk with a sort of a jaunty step. And even if you have back problems like I do, you can take a cane and you can walk, but you've got to get up out of your chair and you've got to smile. Look at yourself in the mirror and smile and say to yourself, it's going to get better. It's going to get better because my mind will clear and I will be happier. Now, I also found out that I needed iron. Now, how did I know that? Well, first of all, a doctor prescribed it a long time ago, a slow action iron, that I needed it after I had a blood test. And so I took it for a while, but then I forgot about it. Well, I found out that the iron supplement will also help me sleep because I have terrible time finding at least 3, 4 hours of sleep, and I'm sometimes wiped out because I need to sleep. So there's all kinds of problems that a human body can have. And the older it gets, the more complicated it can be. On the other hand, you take good care of yourself. You have your vitamins and minerals, and you eat good foods, not just sweets. And when you're depressed, you will crave sweets. So depression is a national, international disease. It's worse than the coronavirus. Truly, it's worse than the coronavirus because it immobilizes you. It grabs your mind and it ties it up in knots and it won't let it think. It won't let it be happy. And so then when you are immobilized, you can't follow the divine wisdom for your life to get out of that hole. And you just dig your hole deeper. And sometimes you need to go to a doctor and get some kind of chemical balance for an imbalanced body. Because sometimes a little help from the doctor and a change in your chemistry can make all the difference in the world in your happiness. So a long time ago, I set up one of my videos, which was 30 days to happiness. So it's not just the chemical imbalance in your body that can cause it. And yet that can happen every day, depending on what you eat and depending on how much exercise you've had, depending on whether the weather is bad and you can't get out. But for me, I need sunshine. And I'm a Leo. I need sunshine. And if I don't have sunshine, I feel droopy and lose energy. And it's been cloudy and rainy out here in Florida. And it does affect me. When you realize that, you need to get up and go do something. Now, it hasn't been raining every single day here, but I happen to choose a rainy day to put on my raincoat and go grocery shopping. And it is sometimes refreshing. You feel as though the rain is cleansing you. And so you have to be careful if you're out in the north there that rain turns to snow. But here in the South, it doesn't mean you can escape depression, even though you're in a beautiful energy area of sunshine and flowers, and our azaleas are in bloom. It's just so beautiful. That alone can help perk up my energy, just looking at those beautiful flowers. I have very old bushes. I've been in this house only 3 years, but those bushes have been here for probably 20 years. And they're huge and they're full of blossoms right now. One is red, another has pink and white blossoms, and another is pink. And it's just amazing how it can stir up your emotions and bring you up to joy. So if you're experiencing what would it be called because you have to stay inside because of the weather or because you're not well enough to go out, that can cause depression too. So, what are the things you can do? Well, first of all, you can sit where you can be in the sun. If it is sunny outside, sit where you can be in the sun. And if you can't do that, sit where there's light. You near a window, even if it's raining outside or snowing, sit near a window where there's light because the energy of that light will help to lift you out of that depression. And you need to do all kinds of mental exercises. And that is to speak words of what should I say? Speak words of love to yourself, saying things like, "You're okay, Betty Ray. You can do this. You can smile, even when you feel like sitting down and bawling your eyes out. You can smile." And as they say, fake it till you make it, because you can fool your emotions. You can't fool your intellect. You know you're in depression, but you can do a deep meditation that will fool your emotions into thinking you are happy, you are joyful, you are really happy and you think of the most beautiful place in nature and you think of a waterfall with a small clear lake that it falls into and beautiful trees and flowers all around it, your favorite flowers, and you can go there inside your mind and heart, and that will lift you up as well. A meditation of beauty in nature can do wonders for bringing you out of a funk. And the most important thing is get up and walk around, do a brisk walk, walk around your house and turn on music and dance to music. The important thing is to stop thinking about negative stuff. You remember those little binoculars that they used to have that you put slides in? Well, imagine that that's what you have, but it goes into your mind. So right now you're looking at the world and you're going, oh my, I don't know what to do. And that's when you've got to put a different slide in. And that is, excuse me, that slide is a bright, oh, they showed it to me, a question mark that is blinking on and off because you don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, there's an exclamation mark with a big, pretty jeweled dot below it. And you go, oh, I can do this, or I can do that. And you get so excited that before you know it, you're not depressed anymore. And so, okay, that's one way. It can be a mental discipline to be quiet, to listen for divine guidance, but not to allow your thoughts to go to, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I don't have the energy. Negative. You don't want to put in the negative slide. So if you're in a negative funk, put in a thought in your mind that will lift you up. And I always like to imagine myself in a beautiful place in nature where the trees are all different, my favorite kinds of trees. Excuse me, where the sun is shining, where it's warm, and you can go outside in a sleeveless shirt and you can just bask in the sun. Your imagination can put you there, and that will change the energy. So use your imagination, just as I've said how many times. Excuse me. That tickle right down there, right there. So use your imagination. Jesus said, and again, I've said this many times, unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And where's the kingdom of heaven? He said, right here inside of you. It is in your mind and in your heart. And when you allow your mind to think of all the bad things that are happening, if you allow your mind to only dwell on what's wrong with the world, you're going to lower your energy. You're going to lower those emotions down to depression. And that's the bottom of the pond. You don't want to drown in those negative thoughts because then you're not being able to listen to the joy that God is sending you. And joy is what gets you out of that hole and raises you up to be among the angels. That's why I've set it up so that my sweet angel is showing you how this stained glass angel was an inspiration that started with my husband, Joe. And it began with by taking I actually had a form that I had made out of cloth that is exactly that size. And when I was doing the whole life expos and doing readings for people and lecturing and selling a book that I had just published. And that was many years ago. And I still had that beautiful little form that I had put on Velcroed on a piece of it looked like navy blue suede. That's what it looked like. And I had two angels. So I took that angel that I had made out of cloth to the stained glass person and asked them if they could make me a stained glass. And he did, allowed me to choose the colors that I wanted. The only thing different is he added that halo around it that gave it stability, he told me. And so I have treasured that idea ever since it happened many, many years ago. So your ideas for doing good, for creating something, even for cleaning your house. If you have an idea that your closet needs cleaning out and you need to get rid of some of your clothes that you're not wearing anymore, to take it to the Goodwill or to the Salvation Army or to the recycle stores, the resale shops, take it there when they are working to be of service to others. And I happen to have one just around the corner from me. So it's where I get a lot of my stuff. I've got a beautiful bedspread that matches my curtains in my bedroom. And I found all kinds of things that have been there. I even buy my clothes there when I can. So it's time for you to wake up, to get out of that half asleep kind of mood that you might be in, if it's called depression, and do something, particularly if you can do something to help someone else. So, the work that I do, when people call me and ask me for help, that, phew, if I'm in a funky mood, it just lifts me right out because I get to contact Raphael in their name. And that lifts me up. So I know being of service to others, doing something for others, volunteer for a food bank, volunteer to help someone, join the, what do they call it, brothers? Um, oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's where you help children. If you're There's Boys Club. Boys Club of America is also Girls Club of America. Thank you, Raphael. Join that and see if you can be of service to some lonely child who doesn't have a father or doesn't have a mother. And you might be able to supply that kind of love. And even if it is a pandemic, you can still pick that person up and take them for a ride in the country and let them smell the flowers and bring them out of their depression. If you do something for someone else, it will help bring you out of yourself. And that's one of the biggest ways and easiest ways to overcome depression. This is why I'm here. I was in a funk. I didn't have the energy to do anything. And all of a sudden, I got the idea, go talk about depression. Since you know what it's like, you've been experiencing it, talk about it and help others to overcome their own depression because you can. And if you tried everything and you still can't, please go see a doctor because there are medicines that will help you. There are medicines that are mood shifters and they will help you because depression is not following the divine will. God wants you to be happy. And God is always inspiring you about something you can do. I remember I had my colored pencils over here on the bookshelf. And even if you're getting some um, coloring books for adults and colored pencils, and you sit and do something creative, something that will make a beautiful picture, or if you have art, any kind of art form, or any kind of needlework, um, crochet, knitting, rug hooking. If you can start doing that, it will bring you out of the depression because you will feel a rhythm to life again. That kind of needlework helps you to get your rhythm back in place. When you're knitting, you're doing a rhythm. When you're crocheting, you're doing a rhythm. When you're rug hooking, you're making loops in a canvas that could be burlap, and you're coloring with wool. And so if you have seen any kind of rug hooking, I've shown you mine when you go on my webpage, go on go on Google, that's what I want, and look for rug hooking, traditional rug hooking. You got to call it traditional rug hooking. There's latch hook, but that's not what I do. Latch hook is with little pieces of yarn, and you have a hook that pulls it up and kind of knots it. That's not what I'm talking about. You've seen my rugs if you've been on my webpage, and I promised myself I would bring my webpage up to date. Today, that is the day I will do it. But I'm here first to talk to you and to tell you to be happy. But to do that, sometimes you have to get out of your chair and go dance a jig. Put on some music and dance. Dance around, sing around, walk around your house singing. And before you know it, that depression, that darkness will disappear. It's up to you. And believe me, there are times when all you want to do is sleep. That's an escape. But if you're like me and have insomnia and can't sleep, believe me, if it's during the day, you can take a nap, you will do it. Even though you say don't nap during the day because then you can't sleep at night. If I get to take a nap and I can sleep, I will take it because I have insomnia. And I wonder if it's because God wants me working full time. But I tell him, I have to have sleep. I'm just a human being. I have to have sleep. And that's when you can recharge my batteries, God. And if you want me to do this work, then by golly, you've got to help me sleep. So I go to the drugstore and I look for some sleep stuff and I try them all, melatonin, and there's other ones that you can try if you have trouble sleeping. And you don't need to go to a sleep clinic, but if you can and it will help, then do it. Do whatever you can because sleep is very important. So I came on today to tell you to listen to your guardian angel. There's that beautiful angel behind me. That is not what angels look like, by the way. They are pure spirit. They will take on the form with beautiful wings if that's what you believe them to look like. They will become anything you imagine them to be because that's how much they love you. And angels can do that. They can appear in a little tiny orb. It's just this big, and you will know that they are there. So call upon your angels when you are feeling lethargic and no energy and ask them to infuse you with angelic joy because angels never get depressed. They are always serving God. And when you're serving God, you can't be depressed because God is the energy of joy, but also understands the energy of depression because God is all energy. And so when you are feeling immobilized, when you are feeling deep down in the dumps, breathe. That's the first thing you have to do is take a deep breath, which doesn't move your shoulders. Remember that abdominal breathing is the kind of breath you need, keeping your shoulders down and your gut begins to expand. Then you call upon your angels to lift you out, to inspire you of what to do. And for me to get lifted out of my depression, I came here to talk to you about depression because I do experience it too. It also can depend on the weather because I'm a Leo and I need sunshine. And when it's been raining day after day after day and I haven't had my shot of sunshine, it can be depressing. And so that's when I need to get up and go do something that's fun. And even though with the pandemic and I wear double masks when I go out, I went out and did my grocery shopping, went to the drugstore, found something that would help me sleep. And by the time I came back home, I was feeling better just because I got out and did something. And so if it's a nice day, I have a labyrinth in my backyard, a beautiful big labyrinth. When it's a nice day, I get out and walk it. And even though where I live, there's no sidewalk, there's no way of going unless you go right out on the street to have a long walk. So I've created it by creating a labyrinth. And I did that by laying it out first with clothesline rope. And then I hired a man to come in and replace the clothesline rope with black garden edging. It's really lovely. And we have learned how I say because my neighbor does a lot of help in the yard, and we have learned how to do organic weed killer because when it's something sacred like that, you don't want to use a regular weed killer. It's destructive. And so we make an organic weed killer so that, remember, it's mostly sand down here anyway, so that it stays sandy and it's beautiful. And now that also my neighbor has helped me open up the back acreage, I have a medicine wheel, and that has been a delight. And because I'm this old lady, I can't stand for very long because my body gets tired. And so I put chairs out there. I put metal chairs that had holes in the seat, thinking that would take care of the water and I could just go out and sit down. Well, we ran into another problem that could be very depressing, and that's pollen. This is a season of pollen, and it's this green dust that covers everything. My beautiful new screen room is covered with this green dust. And it's like, oh my gosh, now I've got to deal with that. And so I'm dealing with it. That's not going to get me down. So I went out and I cleaned off the chairs and then I put plastic bags over it, the big garbage bags that you have, the big black ones that are sometimes leaf bags. And then I cleaned off the chairs and I put over them the garbage bags so that when I want to go out and sit in the medicine wheel, I take off the garbage bag, lay it aside, and I sit down in my medicine wheel. Because each quadrant is dedicated to mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical for 4 quadrants. And so if you're having problems with mental because you're depressed, then it's time if you create a medicine wheel, which is really quite easy to do. Look it up online. You need to just find some rocks and stones and whatever, and you create the medicine wheel. It's a big circle with 4 major big stones, north, south, east, and west. And then you connect those with little stones, so you have a circle. And then you make a big X with a circle across it. And in the center, you put a stone. I happen to have a beautiful crystal in the center, and it's up on a what do you call it? A plant stand. It's up on a plant stand, so it's not sitting down in the dirt. And oh my, the energy that it gets because it stays out in the sun and the moon and the rain, and it just keeps it sparkling. It's a big chunk of quartz crystal. And so I have blessed that by using the sage that the Native Americans use. And I've gone around and I bless the stones. And I don't bless it. I call upon God to let the angels do it. But I'm the person that actually carries the incense and the sage and blesses it. So use your imagination. Allow yourself to listen to your divine guidance. And if it tells you to create a medicine wheel in your house, you could do that. You can find some stone, particularly if you've got rose quartz, amethyst, and clear quartz crystals. If you have any of those, they can add to the energy. They can be your 4 north, south, east, and west. And so create a space that you can have, that you can sit in the middle and you can meditate. Those energies from those main quartz crystals and amethyst crystals and rose quartz crystals, they can add to your energy and help pull you out of the depression. So, we've given you some ideas. We'll not stay long, but we hope it's been helpful for you. And please tell people about our channel and subscribe and comment. We would love to hear from you. And we like to know that there's somebody out there. But I'm always here. Oh, Johnny, thank you for following your heart and coming here today. It has been very helpful. Thank you, my sweet lady. You are such a darling. Oh my gosh. It's so nice to know that I'm not just talking to the air. Thank you. And I'm sure you know what depression is. I know that in the life that you've had, which has not been an easy one, that you've experienced depression and have had find ways to help you get out of it. But the most important way is to sing psalms, to sing joyful psalms. That just came from Raphael. I didn't think that ahead of time. I don't really actually think I know how to sing a psalm. My background was a Roman Catholic, and I went to church every day because I was the organist. I was in 6th grade when I started playing the organ for Mass. And even then, I didn't know how to play the organ that well, so I just played the melody and I would sing the Latin. The Latin Mass was so beautiful. And the Mass of the Angels was one that I particularly enjoyed singing. So that was many, many years ago. And there were many times in my adult life when I was still playing the organ for weddings and for funerals. They got a 2-for-1 because I had a Julie Andrews type voice. And so I could sing songs for the weddings and for the funerals. And I get called upon many times to play the organ all across from one end to the other of where I lived. So you have an opportunity now to either do something for yourself by getting out of this funk and do something that will make you happy. And if you have music that you love, listen to the music and dance to it. That's one of the best ways to get out of depression. And so we are telling you again, don't let the depression get you down. And believe me, this is the time when we're cooped up in our house, or for the dear people in Texas that have not only been cooped up in a house that has no heat, but they have been under a storm watch for such a long time and out of electricity. Granted, my son, who lives near Houston, Texas, has had to deal with that, but he says the power is back on. I don't know about the water. I didn't ask him about the water, but they now have problems with water. And that was from neglect of their constituents who decided to be off the grid and had their own power company, but they didn't keep it up. They didn't do the maintenance on it, and it's failed twice now. And they know that's the reason, but because they're independent, they don't have to answer to anybody. They don't even have to answer to their constituents. And here these people are with no power or no clear water. And that's time for them to raise up, to speak their minds and say, you've got to change this. And so that's a challenge. And it cannot bring depression, because a challenge is something that you will be inspired to overcome. And so it's really important that you don't let depression stop you from doing what is good for yourself, for your family, and for the world if you are inspired to get up and go do something. Or get on the line and tell your constituents that you need them to get off their butts and go do something about it. And that's how you can make a difference. And so, dear friends, I'm so glad that you joined us, Johnny. I'm so glad that this helps you. And for following your heart and coming here today, it has been very helpful. I am so grateful. I am so grateful that you checked and saw that we were here and came on. If you have any questions, because if you have anything that we can talk about, Johnny, that would be helpful, please ask it now that you've got this chance to talk to Raphael. Do you have any questions? Yes, not. Or you would be typing them. But if you do have any questions, please email us, angelbettyray@gmail.com. And we will be more than happy to set up a time when we can talk to you personally, because that's what we love to do. That's our mission, to be Raphael's telephone to the world. And to do that, all you have to do is email me, because I won't give out my phone number. There are too many kooks out there, and I've run into some of them on my radio show on Tuesdays at noon. Check it out, W4WN Radio. And you can hear us tomorrow. No, today is Sunday, Tuesday at noon on W4WN Radio. And I do hope that you tune in and that you also subscribe to this channel, so that when we are doing something like this, is that how you found out about it? Did you get a bell ringing or something? I hope that that's the way it works, that when I do a YouTube video, you have some kind of notification. I'm so much a novice about all of this that I don't really know what I'm doing half the time, but doesn't matter. If I'm inspired to do it, I do it. And so that's why I'm here. And oh, yes, you did. You did get a bell. Oh, great, great. And that's how you knew. I'm so glad to know that works. But I'm asking anybody who is just tuning in to subscribe, so that you can get the bell and know when I spontaneously come online to share with you this wonderful archangel who has blessed my life in so many ways. And I have dedicated my life to God. I'm like a nun. Joe has been gone since '04. So, that's a long time to be single. And I have no desire to marry again or to even have a significant other. I am here to be of service to the world through the archangel. And so I'm perfectly content to do just that. Now, a lot of people are looking for a mate. Oh, I think Johnny has been very lucky in that she's had a mate who's been very faithful and has been very helpful for her. So she's very blessed. And I hope that all of you who are listening do have somebody in your life that can help you when you're down in the dumps, that can tickle you into laughter, that can take you somewhere just for a ride and allow blow off steam, somebody that you can talk to and unload so that they can not take on your load, but they can listen and help you dump it. So when you are frustrated, if you don't have a good friend, then contact Betty Ray at gmail.com. It's angelbettyray at gmail.com. And we will be more than happy to take on your load and to lift that burden for you. That's what we're here for. So don't hesitate. And with that, I'm going to say bye for now. And I'll be back again. So look for us. And thank you for subscribing and for telling others about it. We really appreciate it. Love all of you. Bye now.